Hi there. This is Jeremy Swingle from the PNW district, and I am a member of the Rules Committee, here to just do a quick tutorial on how to use GitHub. GitHub is the website where we are hosting the quizzing rulebook for the CMA, and it can be kind of a intimidating website at first. It's used for developing all sorts of tech. I'll leave it at that. So the website can be a little intimidating, but actually, for what we are using it for quizzing, it's very simple. So don't be intimidated if you don't have any computer skills. Yeah, you actually can learn how to do this very quickly if you want to contribute to the rulebook. So first of all, you're going to want to go to github.com up here. That's how you spell it, GITHUB.com, and click sign up and create an account. This process is just like creating an account with pretty much any other website, so I won't demo it here. Once you've signed up, there will be a lot of uh, personalization options, and feel free to just skip those. You don't need uh, to be fancy with your GitHub setup. Then you're going to want to go to this URL, which I'm going to have in the YouTube comment section, or the description of the video, rather. You're going to want to go to this URL, and it'll take you right to the quizzing rulebook repository. It's called a repository. You don't need to know all the fancy GitHub terms. Just know that this is the URL you want to go to. And if you'd like, you can come up here and set notifications. Here, it's going to prompt me to sign in. And you can choose to be notified in your email of all activity, or to never be notified, or you can do a custom thing, for example, only pull requests. We'll get into what a pull request is in a second. So if you want to be notified about what's going on, you can use that. So to navigate around GitHub, we're going to use these tabs on the top where my mouse is. First, we have this code tab. And if you scroll down, you'll be able to read kind of what the rulebook project is basically about. But the most important thing that you're going to want to know here is where to find the current version of the rulebook. So the standard render is a good way to get the rulebook because it filters out some of the technical language of GitHub. So here you go. You can click on standard render as PDF, and now it's downloading right to my computer. Excellent. So that's where you can find the current version of the rulebook. So that's all you really need to know about in the code tab. Now we're going to go over to the issues tab. And this is where all of the current proposals for changes to the rulebook are being discussed. You'll notice this right here says there's 75 open issues. That means 75 things are under discussion right now, which is a lot. The Rules Committee has a lot of work to do right now, but you can just click on any one of these and you can see the whole discussion. It's pretty much just like a forum or a Facebook post with comments on it. And here we're debating this idea that Alex has. So looks like there's a couple comments on it. And if you wanted to leave your own comment on it, you go to the bottom and just say, I like this idea. For these reasons, you should always have, a well thought out post. This will be viewable for future quizzing generations. So you want to contribute positively to the discussion. And if something hasn't been thought of yet, if someone hasn't said something, or you have a different perspective, then definitely we want everyone's input on this project. So please participate. So that's how this goes. You can also open up your own new issue if you have a proposal for something that you would like in the rulebook. I recommend the title you include the section that you're talking about. So I don't know what the sections are off the top of my head, but let's say 1.2.2.4 has to do with multiple answers or something. So you could do 1.2.2.4 and then say like maybe, or well, that's not a good way. Let's have more multiple answers or whatever it is. This is a really bad example, but and then in this comment field, you can make your argument, make your case. You can reference parts of the rulebook and say, hey, this word should change, this phrase should change, Or even if you don't have a specific wording change, you can just throw an idea out there. Um, so let's say you want to introduce a new question type or something. Well, that's going to be a whole project to try to figure out how to write the language for that. So you could just say like proposal for um, quote these three verses or something. Uh, However it works, just be as clear as you can in your comment, and that will facilitate good discussion and good iron sharpening iron in the quizzing community. So that's how issues work. Every so often, the rules committee gets together and votes on which issues to close and which to keep in discussion for longer and which to advance to the pull request phase. So uh, if you click up here on pull requests, you'll see we have a few pull requests that have been made. And pull request is just a big fancy GitHub term for basically the rules committee uh, thinks that we have a contribution to make to the rulebook, that we should make this change, and we are requesting to make that change. So if you click on this issue, I pulled the first one on the list here, it'll take you to this conversation tab, but probably where you want to go is to the files changed tab. And this will show you what has actually changed. And so here you'll see this red highlighted section is the way it used to be phrased. And it's got a highlight here on this whole section. And then the green highlight is where the rules committee has voted in a change. And so you can see we've replaced this whole phrase with just this one word. Um, and that'll give you a really good view of what has changed. Um, and for 3 whole months after we make the pull request, uh, this is open for public comment. So you can go down here and say if you have a disagreement with the way we worded it, if there's something we maybe didn't consider. For 3 whole months after this issue was made into a pull request, you can do that. And by the way, I'm in the conversation tab up here. So really in the pull request section, you just are going to be going from the conversation tab to the files change tab. Those are the only two places that are going to be of interest to you. Some pull requests might be a lot more complicated. Let's see if I can find, there's one that I did the other day, which was kind of complicated. Ah, yes. So this one's a bit more of a doozy. Issue number 130. We changed a lot of language in the rulebook. So that one is a little more complicated to look through. But this one, as of making this video, just 2 days ago is when we posted this. So there's almost 3 whole months left to comment. So please do that. After the 3 months are over, the rules committee will take a second vote on whether or not to commit it to the yearly revision. And then at the end of each quiz year, the CQLT will vote whether or not to accept that revision that the rules committee has put forward. So that's the basic things you need to know about using GitHub. It's basically just a forum, but with a few fancy bells and whistles that you don't need to know about unless you're a computer developer. One last thing to highlight is this tab Wiki. And this is basically where the rules committee can throw things that they think are of interest or of use. So here you can click on the rules committee members, and here we are if you want to know who we are. Um, there's the change management process, some info on that. This is really cool. We have like previous rulebook versions accessible. So you can click on any of these and download that version of the rulebook right to your computer to compare with the current rulebook. And there's going to be more pages, whatever we see fit that might be of use for ourselves or for the broader quizzing community, and might assist a good rulebook change management process. Speaking of the change management process, there's a link to it here in the wiki. I think there's also a link on the main code page. If you scroll down, here it is. The change management process is what governs this whole GitHub project. I'll also link it in the description of the video. For those who are unaware of this process yet and want to know what's going on and why we have this set up the way we do, that document is what you want to read. And thank you for your interest in helping out with the quiz rulebook. The whole point of this is so that everybody can collaborate and districts can collaborate, and everyone from quizzers to coaches to officials to CQLT and rules committee members. Everybody can be a part of this process and have their voice heard so that we can make the best rulebook possible. So thank you so much for being interested in the rulebook and for devoting yourself to quizzing. Uh, I appreciate it very much. And with that, this tutorial is going to be over. Thanks for listening.